I'm gonna scroll my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman comes for to tally up my worth.
The woman finds you as you wander the streets. "Come with me, child," she says, looking you up and down. "We're going to church." You follow her to a simple clapboard building. There's no steeple, but a cross is painted on one side. Inside, after a rousing sermon, you're treated to a meal and given a worn but clean set of clothes. Works and not faith alone might be the motto of this place.
'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole. Well, I got no companion except the wind and the sea. And when I'm cold and empty, they're the ones who'll bury me.
You pass a meadow where migrants have made a campsite. It's been trampled to pieces. A few families are fleeing, running as fast as they can back up to the roadside. An enormous bull stretches himself beside some of their squashed supplies. You inch close. As you're about to grab a bundle, the bull grunts and locks an eye with you. In a voice so like the sound of far-off thunder, you wonder if you've imagined it. He says, "Sorry."
Yeah, this will be my tale, my vagrant song.
A bus roars up on the road behind you and slows to a crawl at your side. Inside, you can barely see people moving, dancing, swaying. Strings of lights, strange smoke.
Want a ride?
The driver calls. Before you can open your mouth, a huge hairy hand, like an animal's paw, lands heavy on her shoulder. "Not this one," a voice growls, so deep it vibrates your rib cage. The driver shrugs, leaves you in a cloud of perfumed exhaust.
heel, and the string of guitar strings is about the only thing I feel. And if it was second chances, I don't know which way I would choose. Oh.
Here's a derelict school building, shutters nailed shut, wind-drifted dunes piled against the walls, broken desks lined up in the basketball court. While you rest on the front porch, the doors open, and someone gives a startled yelp. He's an older man, tidy and unshaven, carrying a toolbox in one hand and brandishing a broom in the other. "Don't squat here," he growls. "We're not abandoned." He gives you a hard look, but relents and joins you in the shade. "I used to teach here," he says, staring off across the baseball diamond. "Now they just pay me to keep the roof up."
My soul, that current gonna take firm hold of me. That water gonna make me whole. Going down to the river, gonna cleanse my soul.
Two brothers stroll up to you in the street, wearing identical scowls and identical steel-toed boots. One spits in front of you. "Don't stay in town overnight," the other says. "No vagrants after dark." You hide under a pile of wooden pallets behind the bus station. Around midnight, you see silhouettes searching through the alleys nearby. But they don't find you.
When they try to throw water, we gon' tear it down. Yeah, they try to throw water, we gon' tear it down. We gonna drive the hurting hearted out with a wild and righteous sound. When
I wanted to be the best blues singer in the world. By God, I was. I was born a poor girl in Memphis, Tennessee. No father, he run out. No mama either. She was there, but she weren't there really. All alone but for my Uncle Richard, my baby brother Marcus. All alone but for the guitar. Ooh. Now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it. That's a bit cheerful for me. Don't believe what anyone promises you about the future. I signed a contract. I thought it was to lead to fame and glory, but it was a lie. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it. The world ain't all sunshine, you know. Don't have much truck with faith. Only time I ever went to church, it was to hear that gospel choir sing. Ooh, now I'm in the mood. Oh, now that pain. Oh, yeah. I felt freedom. There's nothing like the feeling when you sing and your soul leaves your body. Ooh, now I'm... That's like a song, pretty and sad. You want to hear about my family? Uncle would save me bread and milk. Uncle would play his songs for me and I would clap and laugh. Uncle would press my fingers to the string, tell me, "Go on ahead, girl." Then Uncle died. I'm in the mood for a good, hopeful story. You got any? Is that one supposed to be exciting? Well, you want to talk about traveling? I've been on the road since I was a little girl. Life on tour ain't easy, especially not when you're 13. Sun is up. One more night gone. I need to be going. If you want to hear more about the deal I made, you can look for me up the road this way. I was about 25 when I left my first record contract, no more richer than I was before. Those men took me around like a freak show, me and my guitar and my sad songs. I didn't know what to do once I was free again. Alone, drinking my sorrows. And that's where the devil found me.
You weren't supposed to see this. Outside town, two men, identical, stand sentry over a third body half covered with a canvas sheet. "Might as well grab a shovel, being that you're here," the man in front says. When you hesitate, he makes an appeal to your Christian charity. You and John dig a hasty grave while his brother stands back, keeping a lookout. Closer now, you see the corpse shares their face. Tom was the oldest by an hour, John says. Oh, I guess George and me, we got a few hours on him now. Mean son of a bitch. Beat the life out of us. Did it our folks that way. Got to be too much, so last night we said we'd do him in. George dragged him out here to do it. I would have helped, but George is a strong one out of me and him. Thank Jesus Tom's gone. I thought I'd have trouble saying that, but I don't. John squints at the body, then freezes. Wait! Tom's nose wasn't bent like that! Despair floods his face. He looks ready to throw up. You leave him to it. The bull lounges by this construction site, basking in the bitter sun. Upon his head is a silver crown shrouded in tongues of pale fire. Laborers periodically wander past, seemingly unconcerned. The bull catches your eye. You realize you've been staring. The bull arches his head languidly away from you. I'm waiting for my friend, he informs you airily. Now all the laborers are stopping and staring. Feeling reproved, you mosey along.
Well, I'm gonna scroll my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman comes for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much to find that can be found. Well, I'm gonna have
I take a look at you. Figure we're heading to the same place. You've been walking a long time, same as me, trying to find where you fit. You ever wonder if that place don't exist? No shame in it, I do. Plenty of time I wonder if I'll just walk forever. You start to wonder, how did I get here? When you're alone, all you have is all this time. Time to trace the lines back to where things started. But anyway, now I feel like hearing a hopeful story. Got any of those? Good to hear a story that's more happy than the world really is. Nice to escape. Never had much use for the future. All I ever wanted was something that I owned. That was where I was hoping to get to those days. You got any good happy stories where things work out for someone, maybe? That was a good one. Wish I could have your stories around when I'm in a dark place, you know. Wishes come true. My father was born a slave, died free. I was born free, and as a young man, I still felt like I was dying a slave. But anyway, you, know any good true tragedies? I feel like one of those tonight. I hear you. Of course I seen traps. When a man comes to your door and say, take all this, and pay me later, you think it's a kindness. When it come again and take everything all back, you realize it was a trick. But anyway, now I feel like hearing a hopeful story. Got any of those? You sure that really happened? No one would say my father was free. Sometimes I think about whether my father would find my life all that different from his. But tell me, what's the wildest thing you've seen out there so far? Damn, that's one surprising tale. I guess you can tell I've had my share of run-ins with authority. It ain't a secret that the white man hates Negroes, but it's always new to feel that hate. The newness of how much they hated a Negro in a union was something different altogether. The look in a man's eye when they're aiming to kill you, it's as sharp as a gunshot. Here's the sun. I got to get going. My route goes up this way, but I sure did enjoy talking to you. It's probably the kind of story you've heard a million times. Down on your luck, need work, take whatever you can get. How about you? Does my life sound familiar?
Eat up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole. Well, I got no
C.P. Pennebaker. The dandy approaches seconds after you enter the saloon and extends his hand. Syndicated in 16 papers. Trying to find out what life is honestly like for folks like you out here. Trade you a drink for your story? C.P. Pennebaker takes down your tale in a frenzy. This is precisely what folks want to hear, he cries. He pumps your hand vigorously on his way out the door, leaving you with the bill.
And song. Yeah, this will be my tale, my vagrant song.
You didn't think the musician would even notice you. He seemed off in his own little world, idly strumming and muttering along in tune. He stops and calls out to you from his perch on the sidewalk. What's your name? He winks. Now watch this. He sings Baby Won't You Please Come Home, but with your name in the lyrics. Now, he says, if you found that meant something to you, and you want to show some of that appreciation, I sure would be obliged. I'm mighty obliged. I can see you got the flower prints in your heart. You're about to ask what he means, but his confidential nod suggests that's the end of the conversation. You leave, feeling a little poorer in a lot of ways. I say, you there, shouts the boy, sitting on the broken stairs of a sand-swept shack. His imperial affect seems at odds with his shabby clothes and sallow skin. I shall pay you this enormous, beautiful, shining coin if you would only dance for me. You attempt a solo foxtrot. From the get-go, the boy is clearly unenthused. After 2 repetitions, he throws a rock at you to make you stop. I didn't like that, he informs you. But I always honor my debts. He hands you the coin, just as his mother calls him in for supper.
They're the ones who'll bury me. Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by I'll see them far and long. When the night
Back again? Well, look at you. Same as you was. And I'm the same as I was. Still nursing this lick I took. These couple licks. Oh, don't look at me like that. I'm a grown girl, and this ain't the first time it's happened. Let's talk and drink and maybe play a little cards. Got any stories with ghosts or murderers? God damn, you're giving me the chills, sweetheart. Maybe Lady Fortune has it in for me. I've been losing recently, on a tilt since he left, like a branding iron ain't ever left my skin. When I was younger, I hadn't seen all the ways you can lose. When you're young, you don't even have nothing to lose. You can eat what you like and nothing give you indigestion. Now I don't say hello at gas stations in case someone somewhere trips on me. Hey, got any exciting stories? Like the movies? Well, well, they should let you make the movies, honey. I am home, friend. Do you know what it's like to be your own home? I am it. You can see the windows into the loft, the tools I use to fix the shelves of my life, and when I look out each morning, the lawn is different as I fan out the cards. Hey, got any exciting... The things he promised me, it was like the world was looking into my soul and offering them on a plate. And maybe I bought into it because he was like me, crooked, playing the customers. He would count until he knew he could make a deal with me. It's possible he's still out there, loving me in a bathtub of money I made him. I close my eyes and remember that squint he had, like, "What you looking at, Miss Dupree?" And me like, "Oh, I just like looking." Got any stories with ghosts or murderers or blood? Just what I asked for. That spooky stuff gets my heart going like a good hand sometimes do. I don't think I'll ever go back to my family. I think about it sometimes. I remember the smell of the coffee my mom brewed on the stove, thick and burnt brown. And then I think about her face when I walk through the door, disheveled, a mugshot. A half smile and nothing to give her or say. And I think, Dupree, she'd be happier if she didn't look on a hustler for a daughter. Got any stories with ghosts or murderers or blood or something like that? God damn, you're giving me the chills, sweetheart. You think you know what it is. I think everyone thinks they know what love is. But I feel like I need the ability to disavow it. I thought I was in love with the guy who cracked a rib on me, but it was a crush. It was a little flibberty gibbet caught up on a post in a hurricane. I look back at it, and it was all his charm, and it weren't a relationship more than a scam. Love is dead when you want it to be. All this heavy stuff, it's nice to have someone to pay attention. Soothe my bruises, let the dice be. You want to play a few cards with me before you move on? Of course you do. Let's play slow for a while and you tell me a tale.
On for to take me hand in hand. This will be my tale, my vagrant song. Yeah, this will be my tale, my vagrant song. Well, I'm gonna scrawl my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman comes for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much to find that can be found. My spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole. I got no companion except the wind and the sea. And when I'm cold and empty, they're the ones who'll bury me. Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by I'll see them far and long. When the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song. Yeah, this will be my tale, my vagrant song.
I suppose most expect a Negro to end up in prison. Yeah, there's two kinds in my estimation. There's a prison with bars, where they lock you up after they decided you'd done a crime. And there's also the prison without bars. That's everywhere else, if you look hard enough. You got any good happy stories? Where things work out for someone, maybe? Good to hear a story that's more happy than the world really is. Nice to escape. Joy? Nothing more satisfying than a routine. Wake up, eat, work, eat, sleep. Regular, easy. But anyway, you know any good true tragedies? I feel like one of those tonight. Body and soul. Family? It must have been hard for my son without a father. I feel bad for him. Also feel bad for me. So, tell me a sad story. Sad and true, okay? I guess we all got a different sense of humor. The past, sharecropping, and prison. It all blends together in my head. Might as well be the same thing. In prison, I ate more. But tell me, what's the wildest thing you've seen out there so far? Well, if you want to make me weep, it's gonna have to sound realer than that. Choice. Maybe we should have listened back in Eden. Maybe choice itself is our biggest sin. So, tell me a sad. I hear you. Death. When you do time, you're only doing some of your time. It all ends. Like everything else, it ends. Here's the sun. I got to go. My road takes me up this way, but if we meet again, I'll be glad to talk. What is a man owed in this life, do you think? I never think I ask or want for much. Just food, shelter, fair pay for honest work. Is it selfish? I truly have to wonder. Is it selfish to feel like you're owed anything at all? Even that? Tell me, brother, what was it that you wanted? What did life bring you instead?
I'm gonna scroll my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman comes for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much to find that can be found. in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole. Well, I got no companion except the wind and the sea. And when I'm cold and empty, they're the ones who'll bury me. Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by I'll see them far and long. When the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song. Yeah, this will be my tale, my vagrant song.
You walk along the tracks for an hour, toward the smell of the coal baking in the sun. The train is idling at the station, sputtering, exhausted. A child paces up and down the line of black carriages, clutching a bundle of rags to her chest. She cranes her neck, figuring the height of the cars. You scared her half to death. She stares, absolutely petrified as you approach. "It was an accident," she whispers. All you can see in the heap of blankets she carries in her arms is the infant's tiny leg, pale and blue.
Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul.
You glance up, and the sky is suddenly filled with monarchs. Billions of them rising out of the fields and streaming across the road. They fly past for hours. Random southbound flight at first, then patterns, kaleidoscoping, spiraling in a tower from your eye straight into space. Then, abruptly, you wake. The butterflies are all gone, except for the dead ones scattered in the grass around you.
And when I'm cold and empty, they're the ones who'll bury me. Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land. hand in hand. This will be my tale, my vagrant song. Yeah, this will be my tale, my vagrant song. Well, I'm gonna scrawl my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman comes for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much to find that can be found. Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole. Well, I got no companion except the wind and the sea.
Lenny's Antiques has a heady smell. Polish, maybe, or incense. Sunlight doesn't penetrate the blacked-out windows. The place is crammed with furniture and curios. The woman behind the counter beckons you over.
I know the look of you. I know what you're here for.
She sets a tray on the counter. On it sits a hodgepodge of stitched leather pouches of various shapes and sizes. Some have neck or wrist straps looped through them. She waves a hand across the display.
Good luck charms. I don't want your money. You got something better.
She licks her lips, holds out a flat palm. Her knife is fast. She slices a thin line across your palm, then snatches your hand and squeezes. She catches the welling blood in a murky glass vial. Your vision flickers, and as you blink, the place lightens. Sunlight streams through the windows. You are alone. As you reach the door, a man calls after you.
Is this yours?
His name badge reads Lenny. He's holding up a leather pouch by its strap. You take it and hurry out of the shop.
Well, I got a fire in me, don't come from up above. Yeah, I
Peabody Hotel. The words adorn the exterior wall, each letter the size of a window. The lobby is upholstered furniture and gold chandeliers, but such luxury is a mere accessory to the centerpiece. A travertine marble fountain in which 5 ducks swim. A handsome bunch of feathered fellows, all having a nice time in the water. A bellman in a blue cotton uniform, black cane cupped in his hands, takes notice of your interest in the waterfowl.
Would you happen to be here to witness the duck march?
A wide smile crosses the bellman's face.
Oh, a newcomer. Well, this is a little ceremony I introduced. Every day I march these babies into the elevator all the way to the roof. Then I march them back down to this fountain.
The bellman gestures toward the closest duck. You notice now, the ducks have had their flight feathers trimmed, though their beauty remains intact.
Now, don't look so concerned. I spoil them rotten. The feathers will grow back.
The bellman taps his cane on the marble. Right away, the ducks honk up a frenzy and hop out of the fountain. They beat the water out of their wings and waddle toward the elevator, guided by the bellman's cane. Magnificent. What sweet, gentle creatures.
Going down to the river, gonna cleanse my soul. Going down to the river, gonna cleanse my soul. That current gonna take firm hold of me. That water gonna make me go. Going down to the river, gonna cleanse my soul. Won't heed temptation, I just walk on by. Won't heed temptation, I just walk on by. Yeah, the devil gon' lay his snare for me, but its power I will deny. Won't heed temptation, just walk on by. Oh,
There are people shouting and laughing inside this restaurant, and a man sitting alone on the porch like a statue. When you sit beside him, he gives you a weak grin. Look at us. Tired? I get so tired. Can't even celebrate a job done. WPA, planting trees. He tells you about the hours he spends digging holes in the sun. Collapse has been hard on folks, but I didn't have a job before all this. Now I'm doing good. Kind of glad things went to shit. He hesitates. Is that wrong, do you think? Yeah, but I have money now. Watch this. He digs some change out of his pocket and tosses it in your lap. I can do that. And I can do it again. A few more pennies. I'm rich as hell now. I can do whatever I want. He barks out an uneasy laugh as if he's surprised at his own joke. You give the seated man a cursory nod as you pass, which he mistakes for interest.
Wondering where you've seen me before?
He beams.
How about on the roundabout roads and twisting trails of America the Beautiful? Yes, I'm Walking Willis. It's Walking Willis. Funny, most folks know old Walking Willis. I've been walking across this great country back and forth for years now. You see, I ain't got a home. Walking's all I do. I'm always walking. Well, no. Right now, I'm just resting a minute. Resting my dogs. Ain't Walking Willis allowed to rest his dogs for a minute? That's right. That's right.
He lowers the brim of his hat and goes to sleep.
Well, I'm gonna scroll my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman comes for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much to find that can be found.
Giving up is its own peculiar kind of joy. Ain't nothing like it. No man so good, no smoke so deep. When the devil found me, I was on the edge of that cliff. He had seen deep inside me. He knew, and we made a deal. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it. That's like a song. Pretty and sad. Authority. I pushed back against the man in charge before. There's a few towns where I have a reputation. I don't get along with folks. Can you blame me? When you've been played, you start to want to play others. I'm in the mood for a good, hopeful story. You got any? It's good to light the darkness every once in a while. I thought it was joy I was feeling back then. When the devil took something out of me, I felt something like happiness. I'd been given so many promises by then. I knew this was the only way to make it all happen. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with... Oh, now, that pain. Freedom. There's not many things colored folk can use to get free. You work twice as hard and you get half as much. I thought money was a ticket out, but money come and go like everything else. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it. No, that's just too frightening for me. What's heaven? Well, I'll tell you. Being famous, that ain't nothing. Being respected, that's holy. That's something for a rare few. Being respected is heaven. Ooh, how about a story about the dark and scary things in the world? Oh, that's a scary one. Some people think fortune ain't got nothing to do with the good they've had in life. I'd like to think the things I earned, I really earned. I still think that, despite everything. The more I live, though, the more I come to understand it's who you know that matters. Ah, the sun is up. One more night gone. I'm headed down the road this way, but maybe we'll see each other again. And I'll tell you about how it all went wrong. Thought it would last forever. You understand, I was not just a star. I was an inventor. No one played guitar like me. No one. I deserved what I had. I thought it would last forever. It should have.
Well, I'm gonna have my spade up upon my way back. I'm gonna keep those rocks stuck in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to take my hold. Well, I got no companion except the wind.
From the windows of the store, you can hear a radio, turned all the way up, tuned to the Grand Ole Opry show being played across town. Two young girls sit outside listening to the music. Suddenly, it cuts off, and they howl in protest. The place is dark and empty. There's certainly no radio to be seen. nor any people. Just a lot of sad dust, marked where the furniture used to stand. The footprints of old memories. When you turn around, the children have left.
Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole. Well, I got no companion.
When they let me out, I needed work. Weren't too particular to staying in Alabama after I seen the way those men's eyes went looking at me. My son was headed up to Chicago, and I wrote him a letter. He made it sound like a paradise. Money falling out of your ears up north. Money spilling out of your pockets. White men who actually met your gaze and said hello, he told me. And at that, I laughed. As I made my way to Chicago, I felt a bit like Moses, if I'm honest. I felt as if the country was splitting to make a path for me. Path to a new life. So, tell me a sad story. Sad and true, okay? I hear you. They say we all free now. I don't know about that. But anyway, you, know any good true tragedies? I feel like one of those tonight. Trying to scare me. Ain't working. Change. When you get to my age, you start to understand that nothing stays the same. Not one thing. The only constant thing is change. So, tell me body and soul. I've been traveling a while now. They don't tell you what happens to your feet after walking. They don't tell you how they start to look, feel, smell, like lumps of meat and leather, all tangled up. But anyway, you, know any good true tragedies? I feel like one of those tonight. Come on, you can't shock me. My family, well, I'm worried about my boy. My son, he's content to be a janitor, but he don't get it. If he's a janitor, then his son will be too, and his grandson next. A generation of janitors until kingdom come. But anyway, now I feel like hearing a hopeful story. Got any of those? Good to hear a story that's more happy than the world really is. Nice to escape my place. My father was born here, and I was born here. But everywhere I go, I hear the same thing. Move along. The Negro is a human animal denied a country, a home. We have to make it for ourselves. Or maybe just stand up and take what we've been owed. Sun's almost here, so I gotta get going soon. You do too, right? I hope we get a chance to meet again. If you head up the road this way, well, I won't be settling down anywhere. If you're watching the road, you'll find me eventually. I can't stop now. Don't have anything left to stop for.
And the sea. And when I'm cold and empty, they're the ones who'll bury me. Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by I'll see them far and long. When the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song. Yeah, this will be my tale, my vagrant song.
Well, I got a fire in me, don't come from up above. Yeah, I got debts to pay, boy, not the ones you're thinking of. And all of that fame and fortune bought me a hell of a lot to lose. Alright, but you ain't gonna hear me crying, 'cause I got that soul-sucker blues. Alright. Well, I met a man downtown, smile as white as death, eyes like rolling dice and easy bargains on his breath. He said you don't need that pain, child, but how about something you can really use? You ain't gonna want for nothing when you get that soul-sucker blues. Oh, yeah. strings is about the only thing I feel. And if there was second chances, I don't know which way I would choose. Yeah, the thing about down is I need this soul sucker blues.
Going down to the river, gonna cleanse my soul. Going down to the river, gonna cleanse my soul. That current gonna take firm hold of me. That water gonna make me whole. Going down to the river, gonna cleanse my soul. Won't heed temptation, I just walk on by. Won't heed temptation, I just walk on by. Yeah, the devil gon' lay his snare for me, but its power I will deny. Won't heed temptation, just walk on by. Oh, When they try to throw a wall, we gon' tear it down. Yeah, they try to throw a wall up, we gon' tear it down. We gonna drive the hurting hearted gal with a wild and righteous sound. When they try to throw a wall up, we gonna tear it down. Yeah, when they try to throw a wall up, we gonna tear it down.
Lost in your own head, you almost walk straight into this woman in your path. Her expression is imperious. She clasps a large toddler in her arms. He's the one who speaks first. "This is a toll road, stranger," he says, voice thuggish beyond his years. 30 cents. "Look at me," the toddler orders. "Look at me. You're dealing with me." The woman, through her silence, suggests assent. "Do not walk away!" The child shouts right in your ear as you force your way past. You turn to give the pair a withering look over your shoulder, but just as you turn back, the mother throws her son at you. He looks real mad. The child tackles you by the neck and takes you down. He pummels you right in the face for a good long while before you wriggle away. It hurts more than you'd be comfortable to admit. This office is trashed. There's papers scattered in the street, glass missing from the windows, and 6 men in paint-smeared clothes tracking mud all over the floor. One calls out, "Hey, you looking for Baker? Well, let us know if you see him. He says he's too broke to pay us for the last job, so we're too tired to leave his office." The thought strikes him, and he holds up $1. "You got time to get us lunch?" You head up the street and buy them all sandwiches. But when you get back to the office, 2 cop cars are parked outside, and the 6 painters are all cuffed on the curb. One catches your eye and waves you away. You hurry off with the lunches and the change.
Well, I'm gonna scroll my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that very hand comes to tally up my worth, I won't leave much to find that can be found. Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one.
Don't you come no closer. I ain't talking to you. I ain't got nothing you want. Stay back there. I got a gun on me. What are you doing here? I ain't took nothing from you. It was all in the cards. We're square. Do you hear what I'm saying? Get going. I'm saying well, fine. You just sit there. You ain't got a gun. Who am I kidding? You're no threat to me. You're so gentle and gullible, I ain't sure you really even exist. It's true. I hustled you good. I ain't apologizing. We ain't going back. But I'll tell you how the game works if you want. My little favor, sweetheart. Now it's your turn. Scare me like you'd scare a good mark. That one ain't bad. When they shiver and shake for you, that's when you know you got 'em. Oh yeah? And what you gonna say to the cops? This lil' girl robbed you? We were playing cards, sweetheart, and you lost fair and square. And you can't say I cheated, 'cause if you say that, you gotta outline exactly how I did that. And I can see by your face you've no clue. And still, cops would rather arrest you for this injury, see? It's still here in my side. I'll tell 'em it was you. Now it's your turn. Scare me. Sorry, honey, but that just ain't good enough. The sad story is the key of the whole hustle, so you gotta get it right. I drove through Reno and out the other side, and after that I thought I'd never meet another gullible mark again, till you. Came a long way just to meet your gentle manner and your patience for a grifter to work her trick on you. Good job, I say. Made it all worth it. Now you show me how you do it. Pretend I'm a mark and tell me a story to make my heart race. You thrill 'em like that and they'll be all yours, honey. Look, you came to me, not the other way around. You listened to me, you stayed around me, you knew what it was. You stayed because you wanted to, and that's okay. You were free, free to watch me take it from you. Now it's your turn. Scare me. Good one. I think maybe you got the talent for turning the mood, sweetheart. Oh, come on there, get over it. I won what I won, and you knew I was a hustler. You knew I was a grifter by nature. You stayed to listen to my stories, and so whose fault is it now that I just gave in to my natural talents and grabbed a little something for myself? Does it hurt a little? I'm sure it does. Now you gotta practice, honey. Tell me the saddest story you can think of. Make me cry if you can. That's the money, honey. Sad stories is what I live on. You tell a crying tale like that and you got 'em on the hook. You want to try to come near me? Just you try. I wriggle like a fish and I know every soft and squishy part to punch. I'm a good winner, I promise. The winnings are valuable to me. I need them. Sun's up, so get out. You can see your way to walk, so you ain't got an excuse. It's time to leave. And don't you go where I'm headed. That's my territory next. But, well, okay, you ain't no competition. You're like a little flower waiting to get cut down by the plow. I hope you've smartened up a bit the next time I see you.
My home. Well, I got no companion except the wind and the sea. will be my tale, my vagrant song. My worth, I won't leave much to find that can be found. On my weary back, I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole. And when I'm cold and empty, they're the ones.
There's a commotion outside the post office. The crowd parts, and a middle-aged man comes leaping out onto the curb. "My daughter had a baby," he shouts. "She had a baby girl." In a fit of frantic excitement, he kicks over the post office box, knocks over a bench, and seizes you at random in a bear hug. "Somebody call my wife," he shouts over your shoulder. "Tell her we're taking the train to Chicago." The man starts to dance. His feet hit the pavement so hard they throw up puffs of shattered stone. Everyone staggers. When he swings around the lamppost, the metal bends like soft clay. The new grandfather grabs the nearest car and, 2 hands overhead, lifts it up and hurls it down the road. "My daughter had a baby," he shouts. Everyone runs indoors. The new grandfather seizes your hands and whirls you around so fast that you feel the blood leave your tingling face. "I've never been happier in my life," he shouts. But his grip slips. Before you can react, you're tumbling across the roof of the hardware store across the road. The man doesn't seem to have noticed he's lost you. He's spinning so fast you can barely see him. As you climb down into the alley and run for the edge of town, you hear him, thanking God for his answered prayers over the sound of cracking bricks.
And comes for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much to find that can be found. I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole.
This boy is capable of some intimidating eye contact. He holds your gaze long enough to make you squirm, and then mercifully breaks the silence. Do you like riddles? He has a dull voice. Lovely and round, he says. Oh, he's jumping straight into it, huh? I shine with pale light. I am grown in the darkness. I'm a lady's delight. What am I? A pearl. That's right. Now your prize. He reaches inside his overalls and freezes. The confident air with which he quizzed you is gone, and you're staring at a pale portrait of horror. He's escaped! The boy screams at you. Run!
Yeah, this will be my tale, my vagrant song.
Howdy! The salty old driver grins, showing off his remaining teeth. Ever seen a horse before? Liar! Else you'd have noticed that Scott here is a purebred spotted Appaloosa. Very rare. Scotty's great-granddaddies came to this country with El Conquistadors. My family's kept that bloodline pure ever since. Wipes away a tear. So now what do you have to say about my horse? Heck of an understatement. Go on, give Scotty a scratch behind his ears. Hesitantly, you brush the horse's mane. He promptly jerks around and bites you. The driver's incensed. Where'd you learn how to caress a horse?
Lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole. I got no companion except the wind and the sea. And when
By nightfall, the hospitality of this sleepy hamlet, combined with their superstitious tales, has both overstuffed your stomach and filled you with a hollow dread. Folks say these woods are full of apparitions, witches, and worse. You curse yourself for getting on the road so late. In the moonlight, every valley and hollow at the feet of the Tappan Zee seems like a stolen shred of the abyss itself. Fireside tales seem less fanciful, and every cackling crow and moaning whippoorwill seems like a demon perched on the shivering, spindly trees. But something cuts through the noise. The muffled sound of hooves galloping on the cold, muddy road. When he finally slows his horse alongside you, it's as though he had just appeared out of the mist. He's astride a gigantic black courser, and though his boots are muddy and ragged, he wears an immaculate coat with great, shining buttons. From his saddle hangs an antiquated flintlock and a cavalry saber. In the darkness, you can hardly see above his towering shoulders. His voice is a rumbling croak, deep, but as though his throat is filled with thorns. Have you happened upon a cannonball around here? You can tell English isn't his first language. German is. His hand, so pale it's almost blue in the moonlight, grips the reins in a fist. You mumble an apology and watch as he silently rides away, back into the mist. He's cloaked in black, you notice from behind, but the blood running down over his shoulders glints crimson in the moonlight. The hotel is an old manor house that's seen better days. A grand structure surmounted by a gambrel roof that dwarfs the house itself. It's eerily still, but for two boys at play. Each one so small and light, they barely leave tracks in the deep snow. They seem old for their size, around 10 years old. Though their clothes are mismatched, they're perfectly identical, down to the pattern of freckles on their pale cheeks. They conduct their games in eerie silence. The clerk behind the counter is old, and your room key is worn. But night approaches, and the price is low. Just before you shut the room door, there they are, the twins, staring at you from the corridor. In the morning, as you leave, the clerk asks, "Did you sleep well?" Too tired to lie, you tell him about the noise outside your door, the trampling of small feet on the corridor outside, the dreams disturbed with violent and hideous images. "That's odd," he says, weak-eyed. "There are no children staying with us." His clothes are expensive, but unkempt. A tailored jacket stretched and warped out of its best fit by long days on the road. His thinning frame weighs down the boxcar next to yours. "You got a light, friend?" You offer a match, which bends and nearly snaps as he scratches it against the pitted iron edge of the boxcar. "Thanks," he mumbles, perching one last cigarette on his lip. "Don't rightly know where I'm going." You notice how deeply wrinkled his clothes are. It's as though a huge hand plucked him from a high society party and crumpled him up like a sheet of paper. "Don't rightly know how I got going, either. They built a railway just past Missy Hudson's estate. Damned racket ruined our soiree. Might have been a few bottles of Armagnac too many when I walked down the tracks to tell them to keep it quiet." He drags on the cigarette, but you never see him exhale.
Sorry, friend, but I gotta ask you not to get no closer unless I can see your hands at all times. Look too clean to be one of us. You don't look like the company sent you, neither. Alright, come and share my fire spell. But don't linger. These hills is full of ears. Don't think just 'cause you can't see no one that you're safe. And I'll give you cornbread. Don't be so sure of me, neither. Got any funny stories? Must have a couple. Come on. Don't try to cheer me up with that lying nonsense. Joy, huh? You ever hear music in a coal town? Night falls on a Sunday, you hear church singing. Listen for a while, and the cry? Sure enough, it's a cry. Colored folks, harmonicas coming up from one end of it, joining in. Sound of strings from Italy. That type of song has no country. It's the sound of the workers' choir. Anyway, I need something to laugh about. Got any funny ones? Well, just seems like wishful thinking to me. Heaven? Honest pay for an honest day. Even now, I don't dare open my lips all the way around the words. I need a laugh. Know any good jokes? You got some wit, stranger. Choice? Some say we all belong to God. These days, all kinds of forces would try to stake their claim on a man. I don't know if I'm choosing, just trying not to let any one of them grab me. Anyway, I need something to laugh about. Got any funny ones? You are a pretty funny one, you know that? Love. Anyone could be a company spy. New woman comes sniffing around, you can't tell if it's you or the union she's looking to get a whiff of. I keep to my own. See anything exciting out there on the road? Mostly I just seen dogs. Stranger, miners tell me sadder stuff than that every day of the week. What's freedom? When the community decides what it's worth? Setting the value of things together? You mean when you don't answer to nobody? Just think possible, my friend. Morning. I gotta get going. Headed up that way. Won't be specific for my safety and yours. You want to find me? Then do it. Talk again about these things. Cole ain't got no country. No worker neither. Worker ain't Virginian, ain't Christian, white, colored, Irish, Polish, nothing. A worker is a worker. We all gotta work. If you're one of them, if you think I sound red, you best come out and say so. Get it over with.